everyone. We're here at the Mouawad Emporium Boutique, and today is a very special episode of Treasures and Tales because this is actually the first time that I get to sit down and interview someone, and I'm so happy and glad that this person actually could friend from House of Mouawad. And also, like here we have with me today is also my partner to the collective here. He usually do the more serious side of the business, so like anything back of the house, anything that has to do with manufacturing. So the serious thing goes to him, like not the fun, relaxing thing. And of course, our special friend Antonia. Thank you for being here with us. I would like to, make sure to get everyone, please feel comfortable, and this is just like a small conversation among friends rather than anything else. So please feel relaxed, and if you have any question, I will have maybe like 5 to 10 minutes after that we can ask questions. So with that, let's begin our journey into the house of Mouawad. So good friend, many of us have heard the name Mouawad, but I think a few of us know the story from the very beginning. So I'd like for you to maybe share a little bit how the house began and also the milestone.
So first, I want to thank you, Jan and Rohit. I think you're doing your work with a lot of elegance, grace, and intelligence. So I'm sure you've interviewed people before, but I've accepted actually doing this because both Jan and Rohit came to me and they invited Antonia, so I'm delighted to be here. So a bit of background. The House of Mouawad was founded in 1890 in Lebanon, which is one of the oldest civilizations in the world. I'm the 4th generation. My son Jimmy is the 5th generation, and my niece Anastasia as well joined the business. I work very closely with my brothers Pascal and Alan, and we've been on this journey now for 15 years. So in 2010, my father overnight made the transition from the 4th generation to the 5th generation. He even managed the company up to the night before, so it was December 31st, 2009. He said, tomorrow morning, I'm giving you the keys, the ownership, and I'm pulling out completely. And we thought this would never happen because he was very much in control of the organization. But 16 years later, that's exactly what he did. So all that responsibility came down to the 4th generation. And the challenge for us has been how to maintain our heritage, how to keep the Mouawad DNA of crafting the extraordinary, and how do you evolve into the future. And what you see here, this boutique, is a result of that evolution. So we've been through a lot of transitions, a lot of iterations, but it's always been about how to keep on elevating the brand. And today we're very fortunate being where we are. We have some of the most beautiful collections of yellow diamonds in the world. We have a lot of world records. We have important white diamonds and exceptional gemstones throughout. So we continue growing the organization. We continue staying true to our roots. We continue staying true to our mission of always crafting the extraordinary. And that's a big responsibility, but it's also one that is rewarding when you see progress, when you see evolution, when you see all these beautiful creations coming to life. It's rewarding for all of us.
And hearing about how you maintain the heritage and also bridging it to the new generation actually remind me of the most recent extravaganza event. And it was so moving, so touching to actually get to experience these like wonderful pieces, in person, because there's so many of the stone that I actually have never seen before, like the one Antonia is wearing. So, and this is actually the piece that I always wanted to ask you about. What were the thought behind this Taj Mahal creation, and how the entire process from the design to the end? I would like to hear more about that.
So I have to give a lot of credit to my son Jimmy. Jimmy is very creative, and when he joined the business, he said, I would love to head a project. I'd love to lead a project. And I have this vision. We have beautiful yellow diamonds, and I'd like to create a collection around the 7 wonders of the world. And I want to call it Sun on the 7 Wonders. Why? Because we have these yellow diamonds. So here you have the sun in the center, the sun on the Taj Mahal, the sun on the Machu Picchu, the sun on the Petra. So he came up with this whole concept, worked with a designer out of California who was our creative director, and we're still working with her. And that's the result of the collection. Very innovative. I think we moved slightly from our typical DNA of being timeless, elegant into more what I call innovative artistry, more of the art jewelry, and that's the shift that we saw in that collection. The new collections that will be coming out will be different. I think they're recentered around that timeless, elegant style with a modern twist. So there's always that evolution. But I want to give credit to my son Jimmy for the whole concept. And so this necklace has a 70 karat fancy intense yellow, which was manufactured by us. We bought it in the rough, manufactured in South Africa. And the elements that you see are basically elements that the designer and my son Jimmy has seen on the Taj Mahal and inspired by these elements and created them. And in fact, it's the second time people ask me the question, well, what specific element of the Taj Mahal is it? And I have to be honest, I don't know. This actually is a plus in the sense that I'm moving up and not managing details anymore. So I think we'll have to ask Jimmy that question.
We can also love to have a conversation with him. The more conversation we have later. Because I'm the person who always move into like, oh, I wonder how did they come up with this? Which is my other question is like, has it always been that? So you found your store first and then you create everything else behind it, or is it the other way around? You have like the creative idea first and then you find the store that fit in your picture.
So it's both. So for example, for the specific collection, because we had the diamonds, we designed around the diamonds, and these are very important diamonds, very valuable diamonds. But for example, the collections you saw, the 5 jewelry collection, the Flower Eternity, the Quattrovola, it's designed first and then gemstones second because gemstones are much easier to procure. When it comes to exceptional gemstones, the design is around the exceptional gemstones. So it's a combination. Sometimes we'll come up with a theme, like Son of the Seven Wonders, we can come up with a theme, look at some of the gems we have and design around the gems. So it goes both ways.
And this idea of like mixing, blending the creation and also the connection to make it something like last longing is actually something that Rohit and I often hear from our clients also. So maybe Rohit, this is something you actually talk about quite a lot, so we can take the lead on this.
Yeah, thanks, Jan. Yeah, and Fred, your family obviously has had a lot of success in acquiring gemstones for several generations, but it's not very common, right? Many people don't really understand how it works. And so I would be curious to hear what maybe advice or insights you might have to share about it, especially for people who may be considering starting a collection.
So I think it's a combination. A great jeweler is someone who procures the right gemstones and then basically designs for the gemstones and create jewelry. So there's two elements, the design of the jewelry and the raw materials you're using, which in this case would be gemstones. So it's a combination. For me, I grew up watching my father buy gemstones. So I have vivid recollections of my father coming to Thailand. I think I was 14 years at the time. And he used to stay at the Oriental, Mandarin, and he had a few suppliers and people used to line up because he was a very big buyer. And he had a big piece of paper, which I do the same thing, I think 50 years later, and we make actually a matrix. And we put the stones with the weight of each stone on the paper, and we look at them, compare them, ask for the price, then we put our own estimate, and then we make a big offer. Why? Because when you make a big offer, a big business that's in a big amount, then you can get better pricing. So my father traveled the world, New York, Jaipur, Sri Lanka, Thailand, to just procure directly from the source. And that fascinated me. My father was not in the rough business, but I was always fascinated that I wanted to actually go even closer to the root. And that's when in 2012, I decided to venture into rough diamonds. I bought my first beautiful rough yellow diamond. The outcome was very successful, and as a result, we continued that journey of manufacturing from rough to jewelry. We do the same thing with color stones. We have a large network of suppliers from Myanmar, from Africa, from Sri Lanka, and we try to buy the most beautiful gemstones we can put our hands on. So it's a journey. So your question about advice, I think if you want to start in this business, you need to start somewhere to express your own individuality or your own art. You cannot be too broad. It's a very expensive business to get in. It requires a lot of capital requirements. So I would say find your own niche, find a design, find a style, find a gemstone, focus on a collection that has appeal, and try to grow from a very focused design and collection and see how it goes beyond that. But don't try to be too broad initially.
Yeah, and you know that's very interesting. So generally, it's if you want to make your own designs in jewelry, and sourcing gemstones is a great way. And what about like individuals, maybe who want to hand it down from generation to generation, things of that nature? I guess that's another, maybe a store of value, which can be a factor as well.
Maybe for consumers buying something.
Consumers as well, yeah.
Of course, and the House of Mouawad does a lot of bespoke, so a lot of our customers will come and say, I'm looking for something specific, and we'll design it for them. I think we do this very well as a house, because we do have our own manufacturing, our own designers, so we can do it fairly quickly. But yes, I would encourage any consumer to be thinking about the collection they want to build and what they want to leave behind them, and the store value, and making smart investments. What gemstones are likely to appreciate in value long term? What designs appeal to you? Because it's not only about leaving it to the next generation, it's also about you enjoying it while you own it. I mean, every woman loves wearing jewelry. Every man likes their timepieces or even their jewelry, right? So it's something that we enjoy for ourselves, but it's also something that hopefully appreciates in value and we can hand over to the next generation.
Wonderful. So I've spoken with a lot of jewelers and manufacturers about Mouawad, and there's a pretty common theme among all of them. They say the kind of techniques you're able to accomplish are very difficult to pull off. So I'd love to hear like some details about some of those techniques and what makes them so hard to.
Yeah, I think it's the culture. It's a culture of wanting to craft the extraordinary. It's the history and the expertise we've built over the years. In our factory, for example, we have a factory in Thailand. We've had that factory now for 37 years in Thailand. And a lot of our craftsmen initially that came to Thailand were working in our factory in Saudi Arabia at the time, and we had factories in Italy and France. So it's from generation to generation. A lot of our craftsmen have been with us for 20, 25, 30 years. Over the years, we retired many of our craftsmen who stayed with us for decades. So it's that know-how, but it's not enough to have the know-how. You need to continue making progress. We believe in continuous improvement. So what technology is available? We train our team, we bring the latest technology in. We push the limits in terms of design. We have strong quality controls. So it's using our know-how and building on it every day. Quality is first, and it's a mindset, it's a culture, and everyone in the group knows it. And this is why we're always aiming for perfection, aiming at innovation. As you recall, when I talked about the family values, it's integrity, innovation is second. Crafting the extraordinary, keeping that savoir-faire, that know-how of crafting beautiful jewels.
Wonderful. And we've visited the factory, so we really got to see that firsthand. I think there's another one of your creations that Jan really wants to talk about, so I'll hand it over to her.
Yes, because it's the piece that I really, would like to see close up and also ask you about is actually this Light of Glory crown, which is
I'm very emotional about that.
Me too, I was reading the questions earlier and I was like, oh no.
Yes. Seeing it up close again, this is actually something that I have seen from afar because I only see it on the TV. I haven't seen this in person before, actually. So I would really love Fred to show the inspiration behind this Light of Glory crown, and then what ideas, values that you put into the design.
Yes, so this is the Miss Universe Thailand 2023 crown, which Antonia has proudly won and very much deserves. So every crown we did for Miss Universe and even for other clients has a story. And here the Light of Glory is meant to remind everyone that when there's light, a glorious light shining on you, when you're seen by many people and when you're heard, it comes with a responsibility. And that responsibility is to use your voice, to use your own personality to make a positive impact. And I think that's precisely what Antonia did in her reign. She is a wonderful ambassador for Thailand, an ambassador for the next generation, and an ambassador for everyone that wants to make a difference in the world. She believes that small steps are enough to make a big difference, that ripple effect. That's the key takeaway I took from Antonia. And I think this crown very much symbolizes that. And the design elements, as you can see, they're flames. We're using yellow beryl, and we have 1,200 gemstones set on this beautiful piece.
And of course, we were very lucky to have Antonia here. I would like to ask you also about, maybe share your feeling the moment that the crown sit on your head on that night. How were you feeling? Anything that, coming back to you right now? Please share.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me here at the House of Mouawad and also to share my story with everyone. I just want to go back a little bit to the first time I saw this crown, and I've also told Kun Fred this, that the moment I saw this crown, I knew it was mine. not in a way, not in like a competitive way, but sometimes I feel like, I'm sure all of you can relate, when you walk into a store, you walk and you see a piece that is so extravagant that you know that it's meant to be yours. Whether it's the craftsmanship or the energy that you get from it, the color, whatever it is, it just feels like it belongs to you. And after listening to the story behind it, even just the name, the Light of Glory, I felt like it really resonated with what I was trying to do during my journey and as a human being as well. Like Kun Fred said, I always believe that a lot of everything you do in life starts with a little step, and I always say that be the change you want to see in the world and be the light that you want to bring into your own life and into other people's lives. And I feel like this crown really represents that, and the strength of being who you are, true to your authenticity and unapologetically yourself as well. So the moment I wore the crown, it felt, like I said earlier in the other room, that it felt like home. It felt like it belonged to me, and it felt like we were about to chase our dream together. And the dream, of course, was to win, but the dream was to be one with the crown, be one with the name, and actually represent what it stood for. And whether the crown is on my head or not, I'm always constantly trying to do that with my work, with my charity, Little Steps Foundation. And every time I talk about it, I get like, my voice gets really shaky because it's like my baby. Yeah, so it was a very overwhelming feeling. It's something that still brings a lot of happy tears when I think about that moment, to be able to wear, first of all, Mouawad. And they really, really craft the extraordinary. Because everyone thinks, oh, is the crown heavy on your head? Does it fit properly? Like, do they measure your head before? No. This crown is actually very light. When I can wear it for the whole day. Also because it's beautiful and I want to. But like I said, it belonged to me. Just the way it sits on your head, I'm sure you can see when I lift it like this. It's not like a circle. Right. I'm sure like you probably would just explain it better, but it sits at like an angle where it hugs your head rather than just sits there as a statement, but it becomes one with the person. And just all the emotions come back because it brings a lot of joy. And when I saw it, actually my birthstone is a yellow stone as well. So I was like, it can't not be mine now. But yeah, it was a very, very happy moment for me.
Yeah, I remember while you were talking about the crown, I remember a story of you being in Turkey and you were sleeping down in the caves and it was very scary. And you left everything in the room except for the crown.
We went on a trip with the Miss Universe Thailand from my year. And I was the only one in the room downstairs in this beautiful trip to Turkey. But it was like in the caves. And my room was relatively scary, so I wasn't doing anyone want a room with me. And it was a lot of steps. So when it started raining, I just took my crown and I ran, and I was like, go back and fall. The back was like to come just take my crown, and I was walking up the stairs with the crown. My boy was like, "What are you holding?" I said, "It's my crown." A lot of fun stories with this crown.
Yes, actually usually just answer my next question about, the weight and the comfort of the crown, because that also goes into craftsmanship and a lot behind thinking how to make something feel, like perfect and comfortable for the wearer also, right? And now actually I would like to bring the conversation to a little bit more on the, closer to everyday life for now. The new generation, I would say, of jewelry lover like myself, we definitely adore these like once in a lifetime, hard to find rare pieces. But of course, we're always looking for the pieces that we can also wear every day. I personally myself, I still want something that still carry meaning. And I do think that, the flower of eternity is a perfect representation of what I'm always looking for. And I think a lot of our friends here and also the audience online probably feel the same way too. So I wanted to actually ask you about, how do you see the collection, like the flowers of eternity, the wings of wonder, or even the Coca-Cola, as speaking to this new generation of lovers, developers?
Well, I think when we create these collections, we have a very long-term horizon. When we create a collection today, we want that piece to still be relevant 20, 30 years from now. And I think this is why we've been able to design timeless jewelry. At the time, we wanted to launch an iconic collection. This was over 15 years ago. And we worked very closely with the designers. So as owners, I would say initially, in the initial phases, we were quite involved. But let me even go back to the previous generation. My father, in his 40 years of running the company, literally designed and approved every single piece that was put in production. Just a single man who actually made all the decisions. And then it moved to the fourth generation, so where we had three brothers trying to align. We followed that model to a certain extent, but today we're professionalizing. So today we do have a lot more processes in place. We have a creative director, we have a team, and so we analyze the market, look at our existing collections, and then plan at least 5 years ahead in terms of what collections we will be launching. So that process now involves a lot more people. There's more structure to it, but we're always thinking about how to be relevant. So every collection that you see is designed with that concept of saying, how can this piece be timeless and still be of relevance many decades from now?
And I always see like every pieces of jewelry that I own myself as, certain bookmarks in my life. And I think, Antonia, you probably have a lot of bookmarks and, you have been working closely with Mouawad for quite a few time. I would like to ask you about, is there any collection on the fine jewelry side that you feel like, oh, this is also mine, like the crown? For me, it's definitely, I love the flower of eternity, obviously, because I think let me hopefully get this straight,
yes,
right?
Yes.
It represents the past, the present, and the future.
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's meant to also celebrate love in all its forms. Love for your partner, love for your children, love for your friends, love for yourself. So all forms of love for eternity. So you look at it on a very profound and very deep timeline, all the way from the past to the future.
Not Fred Pascal again.
Exactly. Not the three brothers.
Not the three brothers. Okay. So yeah, and what about you? What is your favorite collection?
Like I mentioned earlier, Flower of Eternity is one of my favorites amongst the rest. I wear these pieces a lot because I feel like I said earlier, there are statement pieces. You can dress them, you can mix and match as well. They come in yellow gold, rose gold as well, which are colors which I feel, and sapphire, that match my skin tone also. But I really like the fact that at the House of Mouawad, every piece of work comes with a story behind it. It comes with a lot of thought through processes that are never the same. Everything always has a meaning behind it, and it always fits in the way that you want it to fit in your life. So it's not specific to what the creator has thought, but it's always up for interpretation. So the past, present, and future, It's always a reminder that the past, for me at least, the past is in the past. A lot of things in life you can't change, but what you can change is what you're doing today that will impact you in the future, and how you can impact those around you as well. The different types of love that you have for yourself, for your family, for the people around you will always be cherished, and always having it on you as a reminder to be there in the moment. Celebrate the moment that is happening right now together with Mouawad.
I couldn't have said it better.
Yes, and speaking of the new generation, a lot more men are actually showing interest in jewelry, right? And of course, traditionally that's watches and other things. And I know Mouawad is do some really interesting things there. Maybe if you can share something.
Yes, so the man segment is a very interesting and growing segment. We are taking it seriously. We've actually, for many years, catered to men, mostly gents rings, cufflinks, and watches. And now we're coming up with a collection, so stay tuned. It's going to be a collection that really taps into the Mouawad DNA. It's going to be a collection that very much celebrates diamonds in general, and so we're coming up with a motif that is diamond related. Can't tell you more because I don't want to unveil too much before the launch, but it's going to be very elegant, manly, and tied back to our roots, being diamond manufacturers and crafting the extraordinary.
It's amazing. Can't wait to see it. Maybe I'll wear something because I'm very shy with jewelry, but I think I've seen some of the designs during the extravaganza.
One of the reasons that Rahid and I admire House of Mouawad so much also is actually your social initiative, right? Because beauty and purpose can go really together. And I know that House of Mouawad has been supporting many initiatives like the children education, and also for impact-driven storytelling through many platforms. And I would like you to maybe introduce some of those platforms to our audience here, both in the house and online.
Yeah, that's a topic I'm personally very passionate about, and it's always evolving. How can we, as a House of Mouawad, at the House of Mouawad, create an impact on society? And we had this wonderful opportunity working with TPN, Antonia, and the entire team with Miss Universe Thailand at the time to launch the whole campaign around Voice for Change. And it consisted of asking each contestant to create a 3-minute video about a cause they care about. And we actually promoted all these videos because we wanted all the fans to know what each contestant cares about and what they're doing on their journey, and then issuing awards and trying to amplify and highlight their work. So as a result of this entire campaign, we evolved, and now we have a Voice for Change, voiceforchange.com, which is a platform that we created, and we want to continue that journey of finding a way to give back to society, a way to encourage the next generation to speak out, a way for people to be heard, and also a mechanism that allows people to drive change. Not only speak about it, but what can we do as a society, what can we do as a community to start improving the world around us, no matter how small it is. And to quote again Antonia, no step is ever too small. Just take that first step, and if you can impact even one person, that's good enough. And if we all do it frequently and we do it in unison as a team, then the world will be a better place. So we strongly believe in that, and we'll continue working on our social impact.
Yeah, and I think it's such an important aspect, right? I mean, you can't really think of it as just a business, but there's so much impact you can create in every aspect of what you do and everything you touch. So that's something that we really respect about what you all are doing. So, we want to have a few minutes for questions in case, anything came up during the conversation. Yeah, about the collection outside or anything you guys have experienced. So maybe we can take a few minutes.
Hello, my name is Tikas. I'm the founder of the Monaco. I'm building a men's jewelry, luxury men's jewelry now. Yes, it's special to meet you all. Thank you. So for my question is, from your experience, what create more attachment on the product, design itself or the story behind?
I think it's multiple elements. The design is very important. I think that's the first thing you see. So even if you have a great story, if you don't have a good design, it would be less important. So I would say it is the design, it's the story. And the third, which is part of the story, is who's the creator, who's the house creating the piece of jewelry, what's the brand behind that jewelry. And I think more and more people are considering all these factors. From what brand am I buying, what design specifically, and what does this design mean to me? What's the significance of that design? So those are the three main factors.
Thank you.
Hi, so we're all in same school for our kids, and because we have daughters, or like later on we will have daughter-in-laws. So when we buy a jewelry, we think about like if we pass down to the next generation, would they like the design that I have chosen? So if you have any special tips that when I purchase a jewelry for like thinking about the next generation, is there any tips like that I can consider?
Yeah, that's a great question. A lot of our customers actually shop with their children, with their daughters. So they come to the boutique, they have a passion in common, so it's an opportunity for them to observe, look at the jewelry and share their own comments. But I've seen a lot of our clients actually make joint decisions. So the mother, before buying a piece, she will consult with the children, what do you think? And only when they all say, yes, I like that, then they buy it together as a family. And I find that very encouraging, and it's also very touching because people are thinking about passing on their pieces for the next generation.
Since I think as it comes to an end to this, I would like to really thank you, Fred, for, of course, sharing the story of the house and having us here today. I'm so happy to get to know the story behind the house a lot more than I anticipated even to coming here. So thank you for that. And special thanks to Kun Adrian, who she's not here, Kun Cake, and all the Mouawad team here also for hosting us so warmly and making today possible. And of course, Antonia, I am so glad for you to be sharing your personal experience because that's the part that I really want to hear from the person who get to be with the crown and the creation every day since you have received it, right? So it's a really good insight to have from not just Fred but also from Antonia also. And for our friend here, thank you so much for joining me today for this event, and of course like everyone who's watching us online, from wherever you are, thank you for joining us here today. It's not live, but we'll be posting this later probably on Instagram. So yes, I think we can take maybe like a few more moments. If you're feeling camera shy, if you want to take any more questions offline, we can also like take this time to just have a little chat, maybe some photos also.
Of course, also.
And of course,
amazing food.
everything. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Really appreciate organizing all this. Thank you, Antonia, and thank you all for visiting us. It's a great pleasure. Please enjoy. Take your time. I know you're all friends, so feel at home. This is the house of Mouawad. It's your home as well. So enjoy your time, and glad to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.